You thought he was done? You thought the takes were too hot to handle? You better think again. He's back with even more scorching opinions, more controversial predictions, and the kind of truth bombs that only Zain Bando can deliver. If you missed the first round, prepare yourself. This is the follow-up you've been waiting for. It's time for Zain Zinger Part 2, another certified hit from the Empty the Bench Network. Here's your host, Zain Bando.
Alright everyone, welcome back to a new edition of Zain Zinger Part 2. It is Monday morning, July 20th, 2026. Hope you are doing well as the music continues to fade out into the background. My name is Zain Bando. I'm the host of Bando's Breakdowns over here on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network, and of course several other shows as well, including ETB Sports and whatnot as well. Let's get into the beginning of the show here while we can. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the Empty the Bench podcast. Remember to do so, please go to youtube.com/ETB Network. You can make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the channel as well. Again, that is youtube.com/ETB NETWRK. Of course, you can check out all of the other programming across the network over there, as well as across all of the other program social media accounts. But if you just want Bando's Breakdowns, feel free to follow the show on social media at Bando's Breakdown. Of course, you can listen to all the old archives of Bando's Breakdowns wherever you get your podcasts. We're still in the middle of updating the RSS feed. I've already gotten a couple questions about that, so stay tuned for all that and much more to come in the coming days and weeks once that is all flushed out as well. And again, this is Zain Zinger. It is an extension of Bando's Breakdowns, which airs every Thursday afternoon, moving forward at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. And speaking of Bando's Breakdowns, the next live episode will be this Thursday, July 23rd, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. You can check it out there. We are one episode away after this. We will be on the cusp of the double, or I guess triple digits, if you will, with 100. So this is 99. The week after will be 100, and then we'll get rolling into August. So shout out to all of you guys who have supported. Typically, this stream is on Sundays. We've been on Mondays the last couple weeks due to some scheduling conflicts, but typically you can catch Sunday's episode and or replay on YouTube and X. For those of you on X right now, please be sure to go over to our YouTube home, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And of course, please be sure to retweet the stream, like the stream, quote, post the stream, do whatever you need to do. It really does help out the algorithm a ton if you do that. That way it tells me that you like what I'm putting out. And that also tells me too, at the same time, that overall just what's coming out is good content. You want to see more of it. And the more you interact, the more it helps me out as well. So that would really be appreciated. All right, well, let's get into the stream now. And we thought we were going to start with a typical beginning stream discussing UFC Oklahoma City, which we will get to in just a couple of minutes. But we need to start with the biggest breaking news in collegiate athletics. About a week or so until Big Ten Media Day, the news comes out that Ward Manuel, Michigan athletic director, will be stepping down at the end of the year following what is reportedly an internal investigation. We're going to read all about it right here from CBS Sports' Brad Crawford. Michigan put out a statement this morning and this is what it said. So the school announced Monday that according to findings of its internal investigation into leadership and the athletics department, the culture review identified 3 overarching areas for improvement: leadership accountability, organizational structure, and reporting culture, which for those of you who are in the know, should know that Ward Manuel has been a part of some major sketchy things over his tenure at Michigan, despite his football program winning both a men's basketball national title as well as a football national title under his leadership. Michigan, which is not making the findings of its $12 million internal investigation into the athletic department public, released a basic overview on Monday with details as it relates to Manuel's role. The investigation, in quotes, identified failure to quickly and effectively act on allegations of wrongdoing by athletic department employees, end quote. Michigan shared the following statement on Monday to CBS Sports. This morning, the University of Michigan shared a video message from President D'Amico Grasso with students, faculty, and staff along with the website outlining the findings of the independent athletics reviews conducted by the law firm Jennifer and Block and the actions the university will take in response. Both the video and the information posted on the website may be used in reporting as an on-the-record statement from the president and the University of Michigan. At this time, the university does not have any additional public statements planned regarding these matters, nor does the university plan to release any associated documents. We can confirm, however, that Director of Athletics Ward Manuel will step down at the end of the year. And then, of course, this follows up with Manuel's quote from the Michigan Insider this past week, talking about his immediate future with the program as he was very uncertain. He says, "It's not taking away from me doing my job and what I need to do to drive success. How those conversations come together and when things are going to be announced, I can't predict that." That was his lone quote on the matter. So what does this mean? This means that Michigan has gone through a very tumultuous offseason. They've seen former head coach Dusty May go to the Dallas Mavericks. They've seen Kyle Whittingham be hired in place of Sharon Moore on the football side of things. They've seen several NBA caliber players go to the draft. They've seen their interim coach become the permanent head coach very quickly after being named the interim head coach. Try saying that 3 times as fast. There's a lot going on with this program, but what I believe to be true is that there's been a lot brewing on this for a long time. They could have made this announcement whenever they wanted to make it, and now they're making it on the heels of Big Ten Media Day, which Michigan plans to speak or be presentable to the media on the final day of the festivities. Will Ward Manuel be given a podium session? I have no idea. I have not found out any of those details yet, as I will be there as credentialed media for at least 2 of the days. I'm not sure if I'll be there for day 3, but now I'm reconsidering being there for day 3 because of this breaking news. I'm curious to see if he even shows up. That's probably the reason why a lot of people would attend that, is just to see if he would show up. But nonetheless, though, this is big news for the university. It looks like they're going to go with a clean slate. It is weird, though, that they're waiting until the end of the calendar year. You would think that they would just abruptly make this decision and give somebody the internal interim tag within the athletic department, but they decided not to do that. I wonder if this is just a phase-out process. I have no idea, but I think it's very interesting that they're letting him step down at the end of the year as opposed to right now. That's really all I can say about it from a factual standpoint. If you want my real opinion on this, I think this needed to be done a long time ago. I think there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that nobody knew, from the sign stealing thing to Hamburger Gate to Sharon Moore and Paige Shiver. There's so much going on that even the public probably doesn't even know, that still has yet to come out. I have no idea. But what is known is Michigan is starting over. They have some new pieces in place, and now the search for a new AD in due course is going to happen, and we shall see what transpires next. Let's move over from collegiate stuff now to the Ultimate Fighting Championship. This past Saturday, UFC Oklahoma City took place from the Paycom Center. It was the first UFC event in Oklahoma City in over a decade. It was a huge, huge success. The main event of the evening saw Dricus du Plessis return after almost a year away from action. First time since losing his middleweight title to Hamza Chimaev, who eventually lost the title to Sean Strickland back in May. Du Plessis comes back, defeats Kamaru Usman by unanimous decision in a dominant fashion. Du Plessis, volume striking, nice leg kicks, knees, elbows, the whole 9 yards. Huge stuff there from Du Plessis. Dominated Usman wherever he could. The liver shot in the third round really did change the complexion of the fight, in my opinion. And remains to be seen, where Usman goes from here. Dana White made it very clear at his post-fight press conference, which was only 6 minutes long. And for those of you who maybe didn't catch the press conference, he revealed that he was only in the building for the co-main and main event, which is rare for Dana. He was at Fanatics Fest in New York City promoting the next two Zuffa boxing events, which the first one is this weekend, this Sunday, Berlanga versus Butler. And then, of course, in September, the big one, the one that everybody has been waiting for, the World Welterweight Championship. And yeah, I know from a technicality standpoint, it should be the WBC, but Ryan Garcia will be taking on Conor Benn. So that is why Dana was in New York City. And that is why he decided to only attend the last two UFC fights of the night. But it seemed like he was impressed with Dricus. Didn't know what he was going to do from a Nasruddin Imavov standpoint. A lot of people believe that Nasruddin Imavov is next in line for a title shot. Du Plessis probably doesn't want any rematches, but that's the point of no return at this point. What is weird, though, is now if Du Plessis fights Strickland, they're back in the same position they were in 2024 when Strickland was the champion and Du Plessis won the belt. So it's been a weird hot potato effect at middleweight, but Du Plessis gets it done, remains firmly in the mix. We'll probably expect a rematch moving forward, and that is more than likely what is next for Dricus du Plessis. He'll probably get a rematch of some sort, whether it's a rematch against Hamzat in the number one contender fight, which would make a lot of sense. You could do him and Nasruddin Imavov to see who fights Sean Strickland. You could give him Strickland, which I think would be controversial because of how close the Chimaev fight was. I think there's a lot of factors, but you could see Du Plessis fight before the end of the year, maybe early next year. But I think that's where he goes from here. He has a lot of leverage now. He can take as much time off as he wants, as middleweight is just extremely log jammed at the moment. Looking over now to the other side of things with Usman, it was his second attempt at going to middleweight. The first time he lost in a short notice fight to Chimaev, and now this time he's permanently at middleweight, and he didn't look very good. Dana White doesn't think Usman should retire. He thinks Usman still has it. Those were his words, not mine. But nonetheless, though, it remains to be seen what Usman does from here as well. Usman has not looked this bad in several years now. And after a big win against Joaquin Buckley that looked like he was going to have momentum at welterweight, he moves up, takes a big risk. It does not pay off. And now he's going to go back to the drawing board himself and figure out what went wrong. I think a lot went wrong. I just don't think he was 100% ready to go and or focused. And I think that was a major key as well. And I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with Usman. But I think similar to DDP, he will need to take some time off himself and go about his business that way. Come back early next year and see what happens. Moving right along as we near the end of our time here this morning, I was in attendance at the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena for RAF number 11. That, of course, was the main event between Colby Covington and Arman Tsarukyan, which Covington pulled off the upset in that one in the headliner. And then, of course, in the co-main event, Ben Askren's swan song, Ben Askren losing to Bilal Muhammad in a very, very inspirational match in the co-main event. Askren doing the best he could. Muhammad rallying late to secure the victory there and get the job done. And then it set up the colossal aftermath that was the post-event press conference. So, obviously, I was in attendance. I might as well just show you. We probably won't play the audio. The audio isn't warranted in playing there, but what I can show you though is what transpired after the fact, which had everybody in shambles. It's been viral all over the internet for the last day and a half or so. Somewhere along those lines, let's take a look at it if we can here. It was a wild scene. It was in the underbelly of the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena. That's where the press conference took place. We had Eric Bischoff, Israel Martinez, and of course Chad Bronstein leading the festivities. And then of course Bilal Muhammad on one side and Colby Covington on the other. And it was chaos. Literally. The brawl lived up to Colby Covington's name. It was hilarious. It was good theater. And I guess I'll just share the news now as we pull this up. What happened here was, simply put, RAF Brass made a pretty big announcement, and we'll just pop this up right here. We already have it posted. We already have it up here. Let's take a look at it. We already have it. This is courtesy of MMAfighting.com, which, by the way, shout out to Mike Heck. It was a pleasure to meet him on Saturday as well, as he was working his tail off to get this exact clip up, which we're going to show right now on the screen. And let's see here what's going on. And there it would be. There we go. There we go. And as you can see here, if you guys can see it, it's pretty wild. As you can see, I'm in the cut there. I don't know what's going on. There we go. So as you can see, this is courtesy of MMA Fighting. I'm in the cut. You see me with the blue shirt. Look at what happens here. They're exchanging words. I guess we'll play a little bit of the audio. Fuck. It's right there. Here it is. So that's practically it. They cleared the stage. It was all good. It was all crazy, but nonetheless, it was a pretty wild scene, to be fair. Everybody couldn't believe it. I mean, they literally cleared them off. They had security escort them out, and that was really the end of it. And then, of course, I forgot to mention, it's official now, RAF 12 in Cleveland. Those two are going to go at it. Bilal Muhammad, Colby Covington, co-main event of the evening. It'll finally happen. It did not get a chance to happen in the UFC, but it'll finally happen now. Congratulations to both guys on getting it done. I thought personally from a relations standpoint that maybe it was a bad idea to have both of those guys up there doing their thing on stage, but it is what it is. It made for great theater. As I just said, it was everywhere as such. And, I really, I was grateful to see that, because that's all anybody wanted to talk about. And the funniest part of that whole thing was leaving the arena and finding people that were just fans that were at the event, going on Instagram, going on Twitter, and seeing the brawl and wondering what the heck happened. That was the most surreal part of the whole thing. So shout out to everyone at RAF that made it possible, was excited to be there, was grateful to be there. Some good news down the pipeline regarding some future shows. I may be back sooner than expected, so more on that to come when it's time to be talked about. But overall, solid show. Some other good performances on there as well. Keegan O'Toole looked really good on this. Zach Brungle looked really good on this event. The women's fight was really good. As well, the title fight, the ESB Taylor match was great. The Grote Gray match was really good. The entire event was, I think, very well done. The production angle of it, from what I could see in the venue, was really good. Although Eric Bischoff did make it clear that if you go back and watch it on TV or on Fox Nation, which is where anybody can see it, he thinks the production doesn't even do it justice, that it turned out just as good in person as it did on TV. So that's really good to hear as well. Speaking of Fox, let's roll into this. We talked a lot about this last night. on the ETP Lounge. And shout out to the 230 people that tuned into that. But the World Cup has come and gone. It's over. Spain defeats Argentina. We were wrong on our prediction. Spain looked really good. They kept pressuring the ball towards the net. Lionel Messi did not have his Hall of Fame moment. He came really close in extra time, but it didn't happen. But overall, though, it was an exciting match. Spain really did come ready to play. They took all the doubters out of it. They just kept pressuring that goaltender. The goaltender for Argentina, obviously minus given if the winner did a really good job, and their goaltender for Spain was masterful on that front in the World Cup. Argentina wins, or excuse me, Spain wins its first World Cup final in over a decade. Congratulations to all those people. Over 1 billion people watched it, which is pretty amazing to say. Typically, you don't see that. Donald Trump was in the building, if that means anything. Obviously, it was in New Jersey. It was at New York, New Jersey Stadium, which is technically known as MetLife Stadium, which obviously is going to have 2 football teams playing there in a matter of about 7 to 8 weeks or so, in the Giants and the Jets. So that was a good precursor. The halftime show was really good as well. I thought that was great. You had, you had Madonna doing the halftime show. You had a bunch of other stars part of it as well, including Justin Bieber. I thought the national anthem was done really well too. I thought the cultural aspects of it were really good. There was just love was the big theme there, which I really appreciated. I thought that was cool. And, it was one of the most expensive tickets of all time. So if you were there, congratulations. That's a moment you will always cherish. That's really cool. And I'm excited to see how the World Cup can evolve. Let's see, ESPN wants the rights to it. That remains to be seen if they do get them. I think it would make a lot of sense. ESPN already owns a lot of stuff, so that remains to be seen if ESPN is interested or not. That'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't be opposed to it. And I'm curious to see, what else comes from it as well. Was that Lionel Messi's final World Cup? Does he want to go out like that? Only he knows that. Nobody else knows that. But yeah, he's a legend in his own right. And even though he lost us, I think far and away best soccer player on the planet still. But for the Ronaldo fans, I'm sure them hate watching was awesome too. I'm not really the biggest soccer guy in the world, so I don't really get caught up into that. Who's better, Ronaldo or Messi or any of that? But what I can tell you is a lot of people were happy. Well, some people were sad. And that's the long and short answer of it as well. Let's move on now to the impending LeBron James decision. He still hasn't made a decision. The NBA still hasn't released its full season schedule. They don't know where LeBron is going. He keeps teasing it. We thought Fanatics Fest was going to be the moment in which he did announce where he was going to be playing his supposed final season in the NBA, but that remains to be seen. The latest reports, though, say, let's take a look at this. Let's see here. So there's some rumors going on. As of 47 minutes ago, the odds on this, the Miami Heat could have a chance to get him. Who knows? Let's see. Still mum on his decision as of 2 days ago, according to ESPN. Let's see here. SB Nation wrote another article on making the case for each of his finalists. Yeah. And according to Awful Announcing, it's exactly what I said. The NBA is waiting on the national TV schedule until they know where LeBron is playing. That's how big of an anchor he is to that week. So it's a big deal. All right, that's going to do it, though, for another edition of Zain Zinger Part 2. Before we get out of here, we are going to plug some of the upcoming network programming while we can here because we forgot to do that. So let's take the last couple minutes to go through some live reads. We haven't done so let's make sure we do that. Coming up later tonight, it is Fight IQ with Tom Albano. Step into the cage every Monday night with Tom Albano. Fight IQ breaks down the world of combat sports with the precision of a championship game plan. From analyzing ground control PFL events to breaking down the technical mastery of the world's best strikers, we cover the technique, the drama, and the business of the fight game. If you want to understand the IQ behind the world's most dangerous athletes, Tom has you covered every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, only on the ETB Network YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB NETWORK. Then let's plug another one. It is Press Row with Callan McCorg and Nick Morgensen. They are back this Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Get the credentialed perspective you crave. Join Callan McCorg and Nick Morgensen on Press Row Wednesday afternoons, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We're navigating the high-stakes shifts in the media landscape, from the ethics of modern insider reporting to the rising costs of the fan experience, whether it's a staff revolt at a major publication or the economic impact of global sporting events. We provide a grand circle tour of sports business and media headlines. We take you behind the curtain and on to Press Row, only on the ETB Network. Make sure to subscribe once again, youtube.com/ETB Network. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Just a few quick reminders as well before we get out of here. As such, please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the ETB Network. Again, youtube.com/ETB Network. I know I'm saying it is a broken record, but got to plug it as many times as possible. Follow the show, the flagship show on social media at Bandits Breakdown. Of course, my name is Zain Bando. I'm a sports journalist and an ETB Network co-host. In fact, just surpassed 500 published articles for the year across all my different mediums. You can check out my work over at the Sporting News. You can check out my work over at the On Sports Illustrated family under the MMA Knockout and Ohio State umbrellas. And of course, you can also check my work out over at fieldlevelmedia.com. As every Saturday morning, noon, or night, we recap every single UFC event and preview every single UFC numbered event. So stay tuned for all that and so much more. And then again, you can listen to all the archives of Bandos Breakdowns wherever you get your podcasts. So with that being said, everyone, that will do it for another edition of Dan Zinger Part 2. We will be back next Sunday to chronicle everything in the world in sports as we get closer and closer to the football season. But right now, over the next several weeks, we will be in a dead period. Shout out to the 169 people that tuned in this morning. We will see you guys very, very soon. Please be sure to check out ETBS with myself and Nick Morgensen on Tuesday. You can also check out Bandits Breakdowns episode 99 with myself solo on Thursday. But until next time, I'm Zain Bando. Stay tuned for much more content to come. Stay tuned for more content coming later tonight with a new episode of the Content Dungeon and so much more. But until then, have a good one, everyone. Take care. Keep it locked in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And have a wonderful rest of your Monday. See you guys soon. Have a good one. Cheers.